Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is 2 of 3 live streams that are going to take place today. Literally, it is literally 2 of 3 because I am already scheduled to go live tonight to talk about and do the 7,000 subscriber giveaway. So I was already on the books for that. There was some breaking news that came out earlier today that I could not ignore, that I had to address. And if you haven't watched that video, you definitely want to go back and watch that. But then there was more news that came out, and then some additional news that came out. And then I have people sending me messages like, are you going to talk about this? And so I've been trying to actually do some work and be productive, being a productive employee. So I finished up a lot of that, and I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger for 2 of 3 live streams today. A lot of juicy stuff that is happening out there. And again, I said it before, you know, as tough as these times are right now, there is so much that is actually happening in the comic book community that there is no shortage of content. There is no shortage of things to actually talk about. Should you choose to talk about those things? So Reggie is a busy dude, bro, today has been busy. Let me tell you, there's actually been like real work being done at work. And then there's been all of this other work that I've been doing. So today has definitely been a busy day. No, it's not a new setup. It's not a new setup. So what it was, Matthew, is that I had a video conference call that I had to do with some people. And I got dressed up for it. I decided to have some fun. So I decided to put on a suit, shirt, a tie, and a suit jacket to show up to this meeting that I had with my team. And so I showed up, and then I jokingly made some comments as if our VP, our executive or senior vice president was actually on the line. So it was me having a little bit of fun, but I had to like clear up the background just a little bit so as to make it appear official and real. So I had to move my my boxes down a little bit, which is why you're seeing more of them back there than what you normally see. So this will go back to its original configuration soon enough, because that looks like a hot mess in the background over there. But again, I want to welcome all of you guys to this live stream. Wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the news that has actually come out from DC today. And there was a lot of people out there that thought that this would actually be good news. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. I struggle with the news that has just been released. If anybody's interested in seeing it, you let me know. You let me know. My wife took a photo of me with shorts on and a suit jacket. I don't think I'm going to be able to go on until I acknowledge what has just happened here. So here you go. This is me. This is me earlier today. Suit jacket, shorts, and some gym shoes on right there, getting ready for a live stream. I look totally official from the waist up. Gotta have fun. I may be sheltering in place, but there is no quarter for my fun. Let's just put it that way. All right. So Harvey Abel, it's good to see you, brother. Yeah, I put up a post on my fitness page. It was like, I'm dressing up for every video meeting from here on out. I'm dressing up in a suit and tie from every meeting here on out. So let me get to this real quick. So the news that has broken is that DC is going to move forward with its plans to distribute comics independently of Diamond. Well, kind of sort of independently, right? They are basically like, we are going to put out some books and we are going to put them into the market. And when DC gets on board, DC will be on board. So this is some of the news that actually came out on NewsARama a couple of hours ago. And I received a lot of messages from folks. And so here's a statement that DC that is being made. So it says, although Diamond has plans to resume distribution in mid to late May, which is something that we covered this morning with Diamond's press release that came out. It says DC has set up new distribution deals with 2 mail order comic book stores that are delving into business to business comic distribution to assist. And this is, I think this is DC. This is maybe is this DC? No, this is yeah. I think this is DC. To assist with the immediate distribution of DC titles during the ongoing crisis. We have secured the assistance of 2 distributors to help facilitate orders of and shipping of our revised publishing schedules, DC told retailers in an email this afternoon. Lunar Distribution and UCS Comic Distributors have agreed to work with us to distribute these new comics. And it goes on to kind of explain, NewsARama here goes on to kind of explain what Lunar and UCS actually are. These are newly created sister companies to longtime mail order comic giants, Discount Comics Book Services, and Midtown Comics. And so these are new organizations that have actually been stood up, I guess, in response to what is happening right now to be able to provide this service. And it goes on to say here that DC have canceled all orders for titles solicited April 1 through the 15th release, with retailers told to resubmit orders for upcoming DC titles through Diamond, Lunar, or UCS. So they basically have canceled everything. If you ordered some stuff, a comic shop ordered some stuff that was being released April 1 through April 15th, they canceled all the orders. And now it's basically saying that you as a retailer, or that retailers now have the ability to replace those orders through Diamond, through Lunar, or USC. And they actually talk about how they're actually giving the same discounts. If a local comic shop had a great discount through Diamond, they actually have that same discount through these 2 new entities that have been stood up. To that end, instead of simply lifting and shifting the same scheduled titles for each of the missing in-store dates, we have made changes to the publishing schedule. And so basically what they did is they revised the schedule. They tweaked it, they modified it. And so it's not all books that are actually going to be coming out. It's actually a smaller subset. The new schedule is designed to allow each of you, that being retailers, to begin ordering a limited amount of DC product at first, and then ease back into the number of books that represent a normal release schedule from DC when your business can accommodate it. And so as part of this, DC also changed New Comic Book Day. They're changing. DC is choosing to change New Comic Book Day from Wednesday to Tuesday. The reason is to sync up release dates across all of our retail channels. And and basically what they go on to talk about here is that DC, with these 2 companies, has essentially divided up the country into East and West. Lunar takes the lead on distributing comics on the West Coast. USC takes responsibility for things on the East Coast. And so local comic shops are going to have to decide based upon their location, which of these distributors makes sense for them, or if they're going to continue going with Diamond. And says DC does reassure, I'm sorry, let me read that again. DC does reassure retailers that they can continue with Diamond with comics coming based upon when Diamond is able to distribute them. And they go on to talk about some of the details. They also highlight here that DC is basically saying collectibles will not be distributed by either one of these other companies. It is just going to be the comics. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. This sounds like a train wreck to me. It really does sound like a train wreck. Let me scroll down. Wonder how that will affect my orders. Great question. Tom the Fish is like, interesting. Closet Geek actually orders from DCBS already. I have no clue how that's going to affect anything, to be honest with you. I don't know. This to me, I'll say a couple of things. I feel like it's a little self-serving. I feel like it's a little self-serving for DC to take this approach, because it is an approach that is not really in line with other publishers, not in line with Diamond, and maybe even potentially not even in line with local comic shops, to be honest with you. it seems to me that it is a little self-serving for them to do this. It seems like they are introducing, in my opinion, some complexity into the market that people worked hard to actually remove from the market. Multiple distributors, the division of East versus West, multiple invoices coming into local comic shops, multiple ship dates for comics. Now it's Tuesday and Wednesday. It's just, what happens if Marvel decides that they're going to do their own thing? Not that Marvel is going to do that, but it could, just the complexity of it. I don't quite understand it. You know, I really don't. And to be honest, if you think about it, DC with in general does not put out enough comics to actually sustain a local comic shop. DC doesn't put out enough titles for a local comic shop to even keep their doors open normally. And if you actually dig into the details of this, they are actually sending out a revised schedule, a reduced schedule of comics. So I'm not really certain what a local comic shop is going to do if on Tuesday they get 3 issues of a comic. I'm not really sure how that helps a local comic shop to get 3 issues of a comic from DC when they don't have anything from Marvel or from Image, which are industry leaders, right? If they're not getting collectibles, I don't understand what purpose this actually serves other than to put money in DC's pocket, right? Because DC recognizes revenue. And we talked about this before. DC recognizes revenue when the comics are actually bought from the distributors. They don't really care what happens after that to some degree. And so again, I think that it's a little self-serving, at least in my mind. What is this? Yeah, and DC is cutting a lot of the fat on their line these days. There may be some truth in that for certain. So seems like it's going to be before Diamond became Monopoly. Yeah, and Diamond's only a monopoly when it comes to comics, right? And we've talked about this before, is that monopolies aren't always bad and certainly aren't always good, right? But this monopoly of Diamond was actually created by DC and Marvel, right? They actually bought out competitors. They actually gave bigger discounts to Diamond so as to put Diamond in the position that it's in. They actually helped them. Why? Because a streamlined distribution model means efficiencies. It means more profit for everybody all around. So they actually created this thing, and now they're trying to undo it. But again, yes, they are trying to break the monopoly, the one that they created. But I don't understand how it actually helps. Who does this actually help besides DC? I'm not sure who it helps, right? I'm really not. And so I want to show you guys this. They actually, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I don't know if this is going to be helpful. Maybe we'll look at this one real quick. So they actually, let me back up. I need to move my windows over a little bit. Move my windows. All right. So let me see if I can do this. So they actually, let me see if I can find this article real quick. This is another article that I was able to pull down, and it basically says here that DC have announced plans to resume limited release of new comics on Tuesday, April the 28th. After surveying over 2,000 North American stores, the publisher has announced plans to resume releasing a trimmed down line of titles, which will also release simultaneously on their usual digital platforms. This new thing kicks off with 3 issues. I don't know what 3 comics will do for a local comic shop. I really don't know. Are there even enough readers of these titles within a comic shop to warrant turning the lights on to actually do this? I don't know. The Dreaming. I don't know how many people are reading The Dreaming. Batman Giant number 4, Batman 89. That might actually be a big one. And Nightwing 40. I don't know. On Tuesday, May 5th, they're releasing a couple of additional books. It looks like fewer than 6 books that are actually being released there. I don't know. And then they also showed this thing right here. This is actually I think this is a little interesting. Here. This is actually a map that they put out there, the Comic Shop Tracker, We surveyed more than 2,000 comic book stores across the world, and many comic shop owners are finding new and creative ways, which is absolutely true. And basically, the way that this map was positioned in the article that we were just looking at, it was basically saying that these are the comic shops that are participating in the new titles that are going to be coming out. And that's actually incorrect, right? That is actually incorrect. These are comic shops that are actually open. And I would actually add that it's actually slightly incorrect, because as I drill down into some of the ones that are in my local area, I can tell you for a fact that there are others that are actually, well, I don't even know if any of these should be open in my immediate area, to be honest with you, because we are in shelter in place. So, but if you drill down, actually this has actually changed. This has actually changed in just the last little bit. But you can see here that there is one comic shop open in my immediate area. There's one up here, Dr. Comic in Oakland, and then there's a couple down here further in the south. So these are shops that are open, not necessarily the shops that are actually participating in this giveaway. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. I'm manipulating multiple windows. No, you could not see that. I'm manipulating multiple windows at the same time. So you definitely have my apology for that. But again, you know, DC is doing this thing. I'm not quite sure how effective it's going to be. Seems like they're releasing like 3 titles one week and maybe 7 titles the next at a limited number of comic shops. I'm not really sure how it's really going to impact the overall business. So competition will hopefully create a competitive market. So let's talk about that. In my head, this is what I see. If Diamond is ready to start shipping comics in mid to late May, and DC is not yet going to be ready to ship comics to these outlets. Let me go back and find the date. I think I said something like towards the end of April or something like that. I think that's what I said, towards the end of April. Let me make sure that I get my dates correctly. So they April 28th, right? They'll be ready to ship books on April 28th, and Diamond is basically going to be open potentially 2 weeks after that, right? And we are already right now at what is today's date? Today's date is 17th. So unless a local comic shop already has an account open with these new distributors, which I don't know that they can, because they're new distributors, new entities, they will have their own paperwork to set up an account, right? Anytime you set up an account, you need to have credit worthiness, which means that you need to submit in some paperwork that shows some income and that you have, you know, credit worthiness in order to qualify for an account. If comic shops are actually closed, I don't know how and comic shops are also, I mean, you know, they don't necessarily have as much money coming in. I don't know how they're going to show credit worthiness to be able to demonstrate that they can indeed have an account set up. But let's say that they do, right? Accounts don't get set up overnight. So you may be looking at, if you started this process today, it is already the weekend, right? And so in order to actually get an account set up, it is at least going to take 1 week to maybe 2 weeks, depending upon how many comic shops actually participate in this thing. So you're basically talking about setting up a brand new account to basically get a grand total in 2 weeks of 10 comic books that will not pay your rent and will not keep your doors open. And 2 weeks after that, potentially, you will actually be able to order those same books and many, many other books directly through a distributor that you already have a relationship with. You already have the discounts with them. You can actually get all of your items, not just a limited supply of orders or items that you would have received. It's just, I'm struggling with the rationale. I'm struggling with the rationale of all of this, to be honest with you, and how quickly it's actually going to be something that actually can beneficially impact local comic shops. I'm struggling with it. So let me, I don't think it's looking good for our local comic shop. That is not good. That is not good. Not at all. Not at all. Somebody said WWE has been deemed essential, which is very, very true. Let me see. Scrolling through some of the comments, I missed a lot of the comments. So yeah, brother, I messed up on that one. You definitely have my apology for that. My local comic shop just started opening again, some indoor and one mail order only is what he's saying here. Scrolling down through the comments here. Scrolling down, a lot of exchanges. Can't Diamond be considered essential? Oh man, I don't know, brother. I don't know. Are they banking on people's desire to read? They could, but again, if you're talking about 3 books in the first week, how many people read those 3 books? Right? The Dreaming number 20, Daphne Byrne number 4, The Dreaming 20, Batman Giant 4. And then they're doing reprints of Batman 89 and Nightwing 70. I don't know if anybody's even reading those books. And then in the second week, the week of May 5th, they're actually going to be shipping more books, right? Batman and the Outsider number 12, The Flash 753, Green Lantern season 2 number 3, Hawkman 23, House of Whispers, Joker Harley number 4, and a facsimile copy of DC Superstars number 17. Again, I don't know if any of those are blockbuster books, but they don't seem to strike me as being blockbuster books. And I don't know if there's going to be this sudden rush for people to actually go out and get them. And let's be honest, right? Comic shops have a $2 profit margin, roughly. I'm making this up. If you have to put something in the mail and ship it out, that is going to eat into that profit margin. If you have to buy supplies in order to ship those books, that's going to eat into the profit margins. So I'm not certain how 10 books that potentially will have to be shipped, I'm not certain how that helps, especially if you're not able to get the other books that you actually need. All of the books from DC, all of the books from Marvel, all of the books from Image, all of the toys and other accoutrement that are needed. I don't know how this is truly beneficial. So I don't know. Let me see. Scrolling down through the comments here. Scrolling through. My LCS owner is a college professor. He has money to survive this since he doesn't pay rent. There you go. You can't beat that, man. You can't beat that. Let me scroll down. Reggie, you have to upload your tax certificate. I'm not even sure what that actually means, brother. Oh, to actually get registered? To actually get registered. Is that what you're saying? So you have to upload that, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to demonstrate credit worthiness, and they'll basically just create an account for you. And then you can order whatever you want to order, whatever quantities. I'm guessing that's what you're saying. That also seems dangerous to me. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, because that's essentially what happened in the 90s, right? So I don't know. Man. I don't know. If the store takes long to redistribute, people will become distracted and care for the characters less. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of people right now that are still, I mean, you look at the live streams, we still have live streams with 100 and some odd people, right? I mean, it's not like people don't have anything, right? A lot of people are reading Comixology and Marvel Unlimited. They're taking advantage of those 30-day free things, right? People are reading some of the digital books. They're reading some of the hard copy books that they have in their collections. I know some people with 7,000 books, 5,000 books, 3,000 books. There's plenty of stuff to read. And I personally don't know if comic book fans are that fair weathered that they won't stick around for comics because they haven't been able to get new comics for a month. I don't know about that. Scrolling down through some of the comments, and I had somebody actually tell me that all people are fair weathered. And there is some truth in that. But I don't know that comic book fans honestly are that fair weathered. I don't know if I believe that, you have 22 million Americans that are out of work. I mean, that could definitely have more of an impact on their ability to buy new comics than can them being fair weathered or not. So scrolling down through some of the comics, we ain't going Tommy Mayo. We ain't going nowhere. We're just buying back issues now. And that's what I'm saying, man. There are decades upon decades of fantastic comics that are out there. In my opinion, the plan that Diamond put in place to basically reopen things, to me, that is the most sensible approach. They are basically saying we are going to move forward as a unified front, publishers, distributors, local comic shops. To me, That's what this should be about. All of us moving forward together. People that are doing things in their own self-interest. I always struggle with that. And it's difficult because DC is doing a lot. And let me never confuse that. They are doing a lot for local comic shops, right? They have donated $250,000 to a nonprofit organization that supports employees of bookstores, including local comic shops and local comic shops themselves. You have Jim Lee that has raised, I think it was last time I checked, $106,000 that is also going to be donated, that he personally has raised through drawing sketches. So I'm not saying that DC is completely out of touch. This, I struggle with the rationale behind this one. I don't truly know how it benefits readers and collectors. I don't really know how it really benefits local comic shops. How it benefits DC, I kind of sort of see that, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where my struggle is. But to continue the conversation, we ain't going nowhere. Here you go. I personally am taking this time to catch up on reading the new stuff I bought in the past couple of months. Case in point, I read all 5 issues of Philadelphia. Man, bro, it's dope, isn't it? It is really good. And there was another guy, I can't remember who it was, brand new YouTuber. He actually sent me a link. He basically went out and got all 6 copies of House of X and Powers of 10. And he's been reading that. And I think people are using this time to get caught up. If anything, I think that comic book readers may be more invigorated when the doors open back up, because they've taken the time to actually go read all that stuff that they weren't reading before, that they were just buying out of habit. Now you're actually invested because you've been reading it and you realize just how dope this stuff is. Hellions, House of X, Powers of 10, the whole Dawn of X stuff that's happening right now, Philadelphia, what is the other one? Stealth, Red Mother, Gung Ho. Oh man, there is so much great stuff out there that it's like it's tough to read this stuff on a regular basis. And now you can use that time to actually catch up. And then when the doors open, now you're re-engaged and you're now spending your money even more wisely on the books that you were actually interested in versus those that were just on the pull list that you were just buying that you haven't even looked at. You know what I'm saying? So again, in my mind, a unified front, a unified approach is always better. Now, here's what's up. Diamond actually released a statement. Diamond released a statement responding to DC's plans to ship comics before they get back up and running. And this is interesting. And it says here, I'll read the statement to you. We value our partnership with DC and will continue to support them as a distributor. Our focus is squarely on getting our industry's entertainment products in the hands of fans as quickly and as safely as possible. As we shared this morning with our vendors and retailers, we are currently building our restarting plans and targeting mid to late May to begin shipping new weekly product. If we see signs that it is safe to resume shipping earlier, we certainly will. However, with a limited number of retailers open and most customers on stay-at-home orders, our focus is on supporting our industry and the health and safety of our stakeholders. That is a statement. That is a statement that I find incredibly compelling. I think that this statement and the one that they released earlier today about their plans was well written, well intentioned, and was a fantastic representation of this organization. And they honestly, they get bashed. I mean, Diamond gets bashed pretty well, but in my opinion, if you remember back to the interviews that I did with two comic shop owners, they basically have said that Diamond made the right decision by shutting down. They made the right decision by shutting down. So we may not like it because we can't get new comics, but local comic shop owners are saying this was the right move. You know what I'm saying? And that has to mean something, you know? So I don't know. This is some interesting news that kind of came out, and I definitely wanted to share with you guys. Diamond, what is this? Diamond about to shut DC down, Goodfella style. And here's what's also interesting is that Diamond basically said, hey, we're going to shut down. couple of days after that, Diamond was like, hey, we're not paying our bills. We're not going to pay any bills. We have no money coming in. We're not going to pay our bills. And then a couple of days after that, they were like, you know what? We're going to pay some bills. We're going to pay 25%, and then we're going to get on a payment plan to pay in installments, the remaining 75% in installments. And then a little bit after that, they're like, hey, we think the coast might be clearing. We're going to put a plan in place to actually open back up mid to late May. I mean, to me, they have been trying to handle the situation as best they can in the midst of something that we haven't necessarily seen before. And I personally think that they are navigating through it pretty darn well. You know, pretty darn well. That is just my opinion. Brian is like, I'm reading my omnibus hardcovers and ordering a few complete single issue runs like Maximum Carnage and Infinity Gauntlet. Bro, I'm gonna tell you. So say read Absolute Carnage, then go back and read Maximum Carnage, because it is like full effect. And Infinity Gauntlet, I don't know if you've read it before. It is a fantastic read, just a fantastic read, in my opinion. But again, is a guy that's making good use of his time, man. We all have these books in our collections, and so we definitely need to read it. What is this, Reggie? You are on my wife's radar. We've been spending a lot of time, bro. I hope I'm on a radar for like a good thing and not like a targeting, seek and destroy kind of mission. Targeted for assassination, because I'm pulling you away from you and her spending time together. No, I mean, again, this is time, man. And I talked to somebody earlier today and they were like, how are you managing? I'm like, we're managing it fine. My wife's healthy. We've been spending a lot of time together. My kids are good. We enjoy one another's company, and we are having a good time. We are making the best out of this situation. I'm reading a ton of comics, which is great. I'm having an opportunity to interact with you guys, which is also fantastic. So I have plenty of older and more recent issues, so I always have reading material, and being caught up with each and every current issue isn't a big deal. That's what's up. That's what's up. Pretty fly for a Filipino guy. New Patreon member right here. He's like, that stimulus check money. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with this. Emerald Knight talking about Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin's a beast. Jim Starlin's a beast. Jim Starlin, in my opinion, actually made Adam Warlock interesting. I think it was like issue 9 of Warlock, where it actually turned from like Roy Thomas, and somebody else did like a couple of issues here and there. But I think it was issue 9 where Jim actually took over, and Starling did a really good job of like rounding out what had been created by Stan Lee back in the day, and kind of throwing and Jack Kirby as like a jump ball. He did a really good job, not only with that, but also rounding out the cosmic landscape. I think single-handedly, Starling has done a lot. I don't know if you guys have saw this, but it was recently announced that Jim Starling is actually going to be returning. He's going to be returning to, was it Dreadstar? I think it was a DC book, Dreadstar. And I don't think that he's worked on that in 30 years. He's returning, not just as a writer. He is actually returning as the artist as well. And he doesn't draw anymore. He hasn't drawn in decades, to my knowledge. And I think he had some kind of injury. He hurt his hand. He doesn't draw anymore as a result of that. But now he's back. He's coming back. He's going to be writing and drawing, and fingers crossed that it's actually epic. Diamond offered a plan for stores affected, but everyone was going to suffer regardless. I think you guys were having a conversation. Yule, how you doing, brother? Comic shop owner right here. Yule, right here. Comic shop owner up in the Berkeley area. Thank you for hanging out, brother. I definitely appreciate it. My wife is 100%, bro. She's 100%, and it is nice to have her upright. Let me tell you, this week has been a very good week for her. She's felt good most of the week. The beginning was a little rocky, but now she is 100%. So I'm definitely excited about that. Mario, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, my man. His name is not Mario, but I'm calling him Mario. He recently had me sign a book for him that was actually, we posted it up on the Instagram machine. So definitely sorry that the LA expo was actually canceled. It's tough, man. It is definitely tough out there. A lot of things are being canceled right now. So Jim Starling is great. Man, he did a really good job building it out, man. And you think about, and you guys know this scene. I know you've seen it. The 2-page spread of like all the cosmic entities. Jim Starlin kind of put a lot of shape and texture around that. And I fell in love with Jim Starlin's work back in the 90s when I read Thanos Quest. That is what started me really enjoying like Adam Warlock and Thanos and the cosmic landscape, right? It all started because of Jim Starlin. Definitely appreciate that guy. Dreadstar, there we go. Oh, it's Epic Comics. Thank you, bro. Thank you, which was a subsidiary of Marvel back in the day. Thank you, bro, because I saw it, but I did not read it, and I certainly didn't lock it in. So thank you for giving me the additional context and information right there. I appreciate that. Emerald Knight, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Let me scroll down through some of the comments here. You know, there are a lot of cons out there that are being canceled. And at the same time, there's a lot of other like virtual cons that are actually being started up. There's going to be some virtual cons that are going to be announced and released and all this kind of stuff in the near term. So you guys definitely want to stay tuned for that. I mean, it's definitely not the same, right? I mean, but you will potentially have an opportunity to hear from some really cool creators, some artists, maybe some panel discussions and things like that. I think that there's a lot of really great people out there that are trying to fill the void with the fact that so many cons are being canceled. And I don't know if they're going to, open it up so that people can actually still get sketches done. I don't know how any of that stuff's going to work, but I'm hearing a lot of rumors about some virtual cons that will be happening out there. So you definitely want to keep your eyes and ears open for that. And I'm confident that if you guys see it before I do, you'll tell me about it, and then I can talk about it and share the word with other people. So not very nice. Whoa, let's get the wife some flour. Whoa, bro. Her flowers cost about $79 to $90. Her birthday was on the 31st of March. And it was tough, man, because she was actually sick in bed. She was sick in bed, and I actually got flowers delivered for her birthday. And I took them up to her room and I set them in her room, and they actually made her sick. The smell, because she had some heightened senses going on because, whatever was going on in her body. So she didn't even get a chance to really celebrate her birthday. She didn't really get a chance to enjoy the wonderful flowers that I had delivered to the house. So I think we are just all thankful that she is feeling better now, and upright and able to spend time with myself and the kids and stuff like that. But I sincerely do appreciate the wonderful super chat, bro. I definitely appreciate that. I don't know if she'll get flowers. She may get something else. Who knows with my wife? You never know with her. She always has something that she desires. And so yeah, it'll always go to a good cause. But thank you, bro. I definitely appreciate it. Tell the wife I said hello. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Oh, you know what? Hold on one sec, real quick. This guy right here. Matthew, the AOK that you sent to me is here. It came earlier today. It is in the outer room. I am going to unbox it probably in a video that you will see in a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. But while you're here, I wanted to say thank you very much for the AOK. I think you partnered up with Randy Resnake. I think you and Randy Resnake kind of partnered up. I don't know what it is. No one told me what it is, but I think you did allude to the fact that you guys collaborated on something. And so I'm very excited to actually open it up. So thank you very much for that act of kindness, man. I appreciate you. Xavier, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the live stream. It is good to have you. I don't think that I've seen your name before, but welcome. Scrolling down, Big Mike and Big Mike's Comics and Toys. Welcome to the live stream. CGC, I told you guys, man, we knew this. We knew this last Tuesday. I broke all this news last Tuesday, people. But yeah, for those that did not see, I just noticed that Jesus loves you. I just noticed that. For those that did not see the announcement, CGC has continued to make announcements about the in-house signings that they are going to be doing. Today it was Chris Claremont. They have announced one pretty much every day for I think most of this week, and there was even 2 last week, I do believe. But yeah, we made the announcement last Tuesday as to what was going to be coming out. There was one that was surprising to me that I did not see coming. I did not know about. That one was a little surprising. And then I'm also hearing rumor that there may be another 1 or 2 that will be announced at some point in the future. So definitely stay tuned. When I'm in a position to actually be able to talk about those, I will mention them to you. But I actually had somebody reach out to me to ask questions around whether they could send in two books to be signed by two different artists on the exact same invoice? And I honestly do not know the answer. I honestly do not. If you guys have questions about those things, I'm certain that there's an email address that is associated with those emails that go out that you can probably ask. I normally message Brittany, and also I will send messages to submissions@cgccomics.com to get my questions answered. So hopefully that helps you guys. Man, brother, they will soak up your money, won't they? They will suck up your money. What does that say? Card on Kelly's Flowers should thank her for, brother. No. She wants me in this room sometimes out of her hair. No. My wife is a fantastic person, man. Definitely a fantastic person. George Perez. I announced George Perez. I announced that one. That was one that I announced. There was one that caught me off guard that I did not know. Waiting for Jim Lee signing. I have not heard any word on the street about that one. I have not heard about that. There is another one that is out there that I kind of sort of know about, that I'm waiting for that one to firm up a little bit. And then there was one that was rumored. I don't know who that one is, to be completely honest. But again, if you guys, yep, that is one. This one's going down. We announced this one last week, the Donnie Cates and Stegman announcement. Let's see if I can find my note. I keep all these notes here. See if I can find my note where I should probably keep it on top, but then, yeah, Clayton Crane, George Perez, Chris Claremont, Frank Miller, Scott Snyder, and then Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman. Those were the ones that we basically talked about. And I think all of those have been now announced, right? I think all of those have been announced. If memory serves, Chris Claremont was probably the last holdout for that. So, yeah, there we go. Scrolling down, Ramos, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you, my friend. CBCS and CGC both have signing, but the prices are wildly different. Yeah, and there's reasons for that. If you read the fine details, the one from CBCS is for the signature only. You still have to pay to get the book cleaned, pressed, and graded. The pricing for CGC, I do believe, actually includes expedited grading in there. And so that's why the prices look different. My guess is that the fees are basically the same. The difference is that one comes bundled with services attached to it. Over here, it's a la carte. So I think that that's the big difference. And that's why I was saying it's important to actually look at the details, because on the surface, you're like $100 for Frank Miller here, $130 for Frank Miller over there, when they're not really an apple to apple comparison. So you definitely want to look at the details to make sure that you know what it is that you're pulling the trigger on. So Anthony, how you doing, brother? We spent some time over the course of this live stream actually talking about DC's move to basically put two new distributors in place to begin distributing comics to local comic shops. And we talked about the sensibility of that. We talked about whether that was actually a good idea or not. And you'll have to go back to the top of the video to check it out. But I kind of go through the press release where DC makes the announcement. They talk about the two distributors. They talk about how they're dividing the country up. And I also highlighted the different books that are actually going to be coming out. And I basically make an argument that I don't support it. I don't support it because I don't fully appreciate who it actually benefits in the end other than DC. Seems a little, it seems to me to be a little tone deaf. And even how it was positioned, here are 2,000 comic shops that are open. That is not the same as 2,000 comic shops that are prepared to sell these books that you are putting out through these two new distributors. That is not the same. And the article that was put up there positioned it to be that way. I don't know if that was a misunderstanding or what, but it was not like, here are comic shops that are open is very different from here are the comic shops that are open that also will carry these new titles. So I don't know. But I am not in favor of it at all. Scrolling down, already sent out for Frank Miller. Wow, getting that Frank Miller signature on Daredevil 168. You sent that to CGC, so you dropped the 130, right? I think you dropped the 130. Note on the back of the AOK, I will definitely check out that. Same to sold the same book. Ooh, I don't know what that conversation was about, but I caught the tail end. Oh, I have to believe that Daredevil 9.8, 150. 158 is around 550 range. Oh, you guys are having another conversation. Sorry about that. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Scrolling down. Okay, you guys are having a good conversation amongst yourselves. So again, if you guys came in kind of late, I definitely want to encourage you to go back up to the top of the live stream, because I spent some time talking about what DC is trying to do by standing up these 2 new distributors, and like everything that comes along with that, the revised titles that they're going to be releasing. I also talk a little bit about how Diamond responded to what DC is attempting to do, and maybe the differences in those philosophies. But again, at the end of the day, I think that you guys are going to have to make your own decision. You have to decide whether the books that DC is putting out are books that you're even interested in reading, and if you can even get them from the local comic shop, if there is a local comic shop near you that is still open and is participating and has the books for you to actually get. I don't know. Seems interesting. All right. I'm going to, wait a minute, what is this? Did you see the news about Justice League Dark? So I covered something about Justice League Dark, I want to say in this week's Go Collect speculation video, but I don't know that I saw any new news about it. I think, if memory serves, what the article was about was that there was a chance in the Black Adam movie for there to be 2 versions of the Justice League. I thought one past, one future. I don't know if this is related to that, but I may need you, Emerald Knight, to give me some details, bro. Plug it in. Oh, new show in development. No, I have not seen that. I have not seen that. I've literally been working all day today, for the most part, when I wasn't doing live streams. So I may have to go check that one out to see what that one is all about. All right, so I am going to wrap this thing up because I have to go live again later tonight around 7 o'clock. I think we're doing the live stream. We're actually going to be giving away a really cool book that was provided to us by Tina K. Tina is a Patreon member and a fantastic supporter of the channel. She put us in a position where we could actually give away a really cool book to one subscriber. And so the 7,000 subscriber giveaway will be conducted today. I'm actually literally about to close down the list because I have not yet done it. I'm going to do it just as soon as I wrap this live stream up. I'm actually going to pull the trigger and shut that one down. But we will do the live drawing tonight for the 7,000 subscriber giveaway. And we'll be giving one person a really nice Avengers book, first appearance and origin of Taskmaster. And then we will also be identifying the local comic shop that is going to be the recipient of an order from me. I'll be buying a couple of books from the winner's local comic shop. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. And I want to definitely invite you guys to tune back in later tonight at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for the 7,000 subscriber giveaway. The post is up now, so you can actually set a reminder for yourself through YouTube, because that is actually up. And again, I hope you guys will tune in for that. And again, somebody's going to walk away with a really, really nice book somewhere in the world. All right. With that, we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you for taking the time to check this out. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects, or you can send me an email to Regie@RegieCollects.com. Take care.